Hi everyone, it's Embers here with a video showing you how to use the shape templates, which is a very inexpensive way of being able to cut loads of shapes out, particularly useful if you haven't got maybe a electronic die cutting machine and you want to cut out basic shapes, and also sometimes it's just too much of a faff to get the machines out. You get all sorts of shapes of templates, hearts, ovals, stars, alphabets, and more detailed templates. This butterfly, for instance, is a layered. I made this butterfly shape with it, and you can see that it's a very layered, detailed shape. Now, the shape cutter itself, that little clear plastic lid is the protector to protect the knife. You can get a shape cutter mat, which protects the surface that you're working on, and the little orange spacer clips off. If you're using the template, then you need to have the orange shaper off. I'm cutting out the letter S, which is quite a curvy letter, and you can see that it cuts cleanly and easily. Great. You need to remember to have the Fiskars logo showing face up on your template when you're cutting. That was something that I didn't realise for ages. Great if you make cards for craft fairs, or if you make cards for friends, special orders where they want you to personalise the card and you have whole alphabets to cut. If you want to cut freehand, you need to put the orange spacer back on, which clips on quickly and easily, and then you just use it as a free-form cutter. I find this particularly useful for doing things with patterned papers that maybe I wouldn't use. You know those, oops, it looks like an earthquake, but I knocked the camera stand, sorry about that. The 12 by 12 scrapbook packs that you sometimes get have these really big medallions that you wouldn't necessarily use for cards, or certainly I wouldn't. And using the shape cutter, once you've got the hang of it, is actually easier than even snipping around with a pair of scissors. And you can use it freeform. I'm just cutting a shape that might do for a stem for this flower, and I can even cut out leaf shapes out of the cardstock. So a way of using up papers that you probably wouldn't use. Here I've cut out the centre of one of them. I've made it all ready to go onto a card. Any cards that I show in this video I will be putting on the Facebook page for you to have a closer look at them. So that's using up something that I probably wouldn't have used. This geometric paper is very, very busy, and it's something that I certainly wouldn't use on a card by itself. But using the shape cutter, I can cut around those elements and use them on a card, as I'll show you here. I've just put a couple of strips of this busy paper onto a plain grey cardstock, and I'm just going to cut a sentiment shape, and I've punched some stars out using the power punches, and I've got a great card for a man to because the papers are quite masculine the way that I'm using them, and I will put a sentiment on the top, a thanks, which I've actually die cut out of black fun foam. So again, that will go on the finished card will go on the Facebook page. So now I'm going to make a card using that letter S that I used. My little grandson Milo is coming up to his 7th birthday, so I've cut out the letter 7 and a circle, and I've cut out the letters of his name. I think children absolutely love to have cards that are personal to them. It makes them feel very special, which of course they are. So I've cut out the MIL of his name. You saw me cutting out the letter S. So the card is going to say Milo is 7. Just popping a couple of little foam pads onto the letter S, and I'll just ink the edges a bit to make it more defined. And what about the O, I can hear you say? Well, let's do something with the shape cutter with that. So I've got some vaguely flesh coloured cardstock, and I'm going to cut a circle out of that. So I need the spacer off, the Fiskars letter face up, and there we have a perfect circle. And I'm going to cut the same size circle out of this patterned paper. And I'm also just going to punch a flower out of the patterned paper as well. And I just need 2 little bits of that. And I'm going to cut that little circle in half, or just over half actually. I keep knocking the camera stand so that it looks as though we're having an earthquake here in Solihull, but we're not. So 2 little petals of the flower goes onto that little hat, and you'll see what I'm making in a minute. I cut a thin strip of black cardstock with my precision trimmer, and I punched a black circle which I've cut in half, and that's going to make a little pirate's eye patch. And I'm just going to use a black pen and a smiley face because he's a happy little pirate. I'll pop some foam pads onto the back of that. And there we have a little pirate card for a 7-year-old. Quickly and easily, and all done with a shape cutter. The other thing that I like to do with this tool is to use the board. Obviously you can use the borders to make very pretty edges to your card and so on, but I also use it in the way that I'm going to show you now. You can see that it, whoops, there goes the stand again, sorry. I'm going to use some Stormy Sky Distress ink, and I'm just using the scalloped edges to make a sky background. You can see that I haven't put much ink on, and I'm not re-inking the blending tool at all. I'm just using it. Very nice. So there we have an inked stormy sky, which when combined with the grass that I cut, 2 layers of that, will make another card that I'll be showing you on the Facebook page. So I just wanted to show you a few ideas of how you can use this tool, which, as I say, is a very inexpensive and useful addition to your crafting tools. Much quicker than maybe getting die cuts out. So you need this spacer off for the templates with the Fiskars name up, the orange spacer back on if you're doing freehand, and the clear lid on the bottom to protect your blade. So you can see the finished cards on the Facebook page, Fiskars UK. Thank you so much for watching. Bye bye for now.